My Singing Monsters presents a bright, musical exterior, but every island functions as a mathematical economy driven by ticking clocks and calculating gears. Every incubator slot you fill, every torch you light, and every unit of food you bake carries a specific opportunity cost. Choosing to breed one monster means you are physically unable to breed another for the duration of that timer. Analyzing your progress requires looking at asset utility. Asset utility is a framework that measures the tension between a monster's musical contribution, its currency yield, and the raw resource cost required to breed it. Players often assume that the monsters with the lowest breeding odds or highest price tags provide the most value to their island. Community data suggests otherwise. High-prestige monsters frequently offer diminishing returns, and in several cases, their audio profiles overpower the rest of the song, or their designs appear mutated and unpolished. This is a decision tree flowchart used to identify your current gameplay bottleneck. Depending on whether you need currency, better audio, or rare trophies, your breeding priority changes to avoid wasting finite resources. Success in the late game relies on calculating the exact return on investment, or ROI, for each monster class. ROI is a financial ratio used to calculate the profit or loss generated from an investment relative to its cost. Using this prevents you from bankrupting your island's economy for low-value assets. Workhorse monsters like the Bogart, T-Rox, and Sponge are natural element creatures with low-cost breeding requirements and short incubation times. These monsters provide the structural foundation for your island. They contribute essential percussion, harmonic cello backing, and the acoustic continuity that prevents a song from sounding empty. These monsters have a low economic ceiling, however. They yield a baseline level of coin production that cannot sustain the high food costs required for high-level play. This is a quadrant chart mapping a monster's return on investment. The Bogart, T-Rox, and Sponge sit in the top left quadrant because they provide significant musical impact for a very low resource cost. These monsters establish audio harmony immediately. They are the most efficient way to complete a basic song profile. Prioritizing rare monsters before establishing these foundational carries leads to islands that sound disjointed and hollow. High-yield ethereals, such as the Gazed and Rebro, occupy a different class. These are rare monsters that require a specific breeding combination of a 4-element and a 3-element monster. Breeding an ethereal is a massive resource sink. Players spend weeks on failed attempts, relying on lit torches to finally achieve a successful mutation. A successful ethereal provides a massive payoff. They generate high volumes of shards and coins. On the ROI chart, the Ghost sits in the top right quadrant. It carries a high cost, but provides a massive economic yield once placed. The trade-off is time. Pursuing an ethereal too early will lock your incubator with long-duration failed eggs, stopping all other island progress for days at a time. Ethereals are efficient economic engines for established players, but they act as a progress trap if your basic resource foundation is not yet secure. The Wub Box belongs to the supernatural class, functioning as the primary status symbol for high-level players. Acquiring a Wub Box requires a multi-million coin investment, followed by the permanent sacrifice of dozens of other monsters to power its activation. Activation often results in audio imbalance. The Wub Box vocal track is loud, drowning out the more subtle melodic monsters. This chart shows the Wub Box positioned at the extreme end of the cost axis. Because it disrupts the song, its overall impact node is dragged into negative territory. Placing a Wub Box during the mid-game can deplete your coin reserves while simultaneously masking the musical harmony you have built. Prismatics, rares, and epics represent aesthetic gambles. These variants are typically locked behind limited-time events and high diamond costs. These monsters are purely visual upgrades. They use different color palettes and models, but provide the same musical and economic value as the standard versions. There is an aesthetic trade-off to consider. Variants like the blue prismatic Yelmet or purple prismatic Boscus feature mutated, slimy designs that players often find less appealing than the originals. Spending premium currency on these variants is an example of the sunk cost fallacy. This is a cognitive bias where you continue to invest in something solely because you have already spent significant resources on it. Chasing rarity for its own sake often leads to spending diamonds on monsters that look worse than the free versions you already have. To maximize your efficiency, you should align your breeding strategy with a specific player archetype. The Foundation Builder archetype is for beginners or players with limited daily playtime. This scorecard matrix outlines the Foundation Builder strategy. They focus entirely on high-harmony monsters, like the T-Rox and Vogart, while ignoring high-cost prestige targets. This approach avoids the low success rates of rare breeding and results in a musically complete island in the shortest amount of time. For these players, reliable progress and audio quality are more valuable than the prestige of owning rare variants. The Economic Optimizer archetype is for mid-game players who want to maximize their daily currency yields. This player only attempts to breed ethereals like the Ghost during active breeding bonanzas when torches are lit, ensuring they don't waste incubator time on low-probability attempts. Finally, the Prestige Flexor represents late-game players with surplus resources who want to complete their collection. The matrix shows the trade-off for this archetype. These players accept distorted audio and mutated prismatic designs in exchange for completing the rarest sets in the game. Every monster represents a specific trade-off between audio quality, currency yield, and breeding time. Mastering the game requires identifying these trade-offs before committing your limited resources.